Hello everybody and welcome to Bug Lover 27, where today we're gonna pretend we're game theory and talk about Poppy Playtime. Wow, I've done a lot of random stuff on here. Anyway, so that we don't waste any time, let's get into the juicy meat of this video because, oh boy, there's gonna be some juicy stuff. Now, why are we talking about the game that makes William Afton look innocent? Well, I'm going to be exploring how the game of Poppy Playtime showcases how we, the players and viewers, see each other and the world via the gameplay and especially the narrative. And the view, well, it's not, let's say, ideal. What do I mean? Well, to understand that, let's back up and talk about the game, just in case anyone who's watching doesn't know. And this will be your official spoiler warning for the remainder of the video. We'll be talking in depth about chapters 1 through 5, so if you don't want spoilers, go watch your favorite streamer or even go play them yourself. We'll be here when you're ready. Now that everybody's here, Poppy Playtime is an indie horror game that's taking place in 2005 after an ex-employee somehow avoided a massive disappearance of their coworkers 10 years ago. They go back because they get a letter in the mail saying, oh, let me show you. Everyone thinks the staff disappeared 10 years ago. We're still here, find the flower. Vintage Poppy commercial. Why would you give that to me? Anyway, from the minute we get into this factory, something seems off, and it only gets worse. As you look around and play, you find that this place is deserted, and toys covered in blood are riddled all over the floor. And if the blood isn't enough, the fact that there is no graffiti to be seen can only mean one thing. It's abandoned for a reason. And there's a really good reason. Now, that's just chapter 1. You defeat Huggy Wuggy, you free Poppy, boom, bada bang. Chapter 1 done. But, of course, that's not the end. Chapters 2 through 5 have you exploring more parts of the factory, encountering new enemies, and unraveling more secrets about this godforsaken place. Now into the theorizing. When we play or watch someone play the game, we experience some big feelings. And there's not a lot of positive ones. Let's see how many of the streamers feel when they first encountered Huggy Wuggy in the first chapter.
Grab the box. Grab the box. Grab the box. Grab the box. Thank you. Thank you! Get his ass! Fuck you! That is dead! He's dead!
Oh my god. He's dead. Dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're a million ways of dead. Oh. I've done it. I've done it. I'm a genius.
Nailed it! See you later, Huggy Wuggy!
Oh! 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 Get bodied, boy!
Oh dang, he doinked himself twice. Bro. Oh, that was epic.
While different chapters brought different characters and narratives, thus making the audience's reactions change accordingly, our opinion and relationship with, let's say, Huggy has only recently changed with chapter 5. So, what made things change? Well, the simple answer is context. Now, there are hours, and I mean hours, of videos talking about the lore, and they're really important. I recommend watching them if you're interested. But for now, here's the rundown. Elliot Ludwig makes a company to make toys. His adopted daughter dies, he's heartbroken, so he starts a program that puts kids into toys that the company makes to give them immortality. It works, but it requires doing horrendously painful experiments on kids to do it. So like any sane person, he expands the project and even has an on-site orphanage. Because he's spawn camping. When he dies of old age, the company is run by psychopaths, and the experiments go on, torturing kids for decades until the first toy, the prototype, has had enough. He gets the toys to band together and kill everyone, staff, guests, and even innocent employees and visitors at this building. This is the catalyst event that the player misses in 1995. This information and more has been revealed to us over the past 5 years since the game's release. But we haven't been able to see anything about Huggy and his past until now. And when I say we all reacted differently than our first encounter, I mean it.
No! Huggy, no! Oh my god, not both of them! Why?
That, ladies and gents, is the phenomenon we're looking at today. Why does it take so many games for us to empathize with these characters? We see the blood and we sense the pain ever since chapter 1, but we don't actually care until something is actively humanizing them. So what does that mean for us? After all, we're not tortured kids who were shoved into toys and we don't know any. The best way to describe it is dehumanization. What does that mean? Nick Haslam from the World Psychiatry puts it simply as lowering people to below human standards, and it, quote, ranges from blatant and verbalized to subtle and unconscious. People can explicitly be likened to animals, end quote. And how do we react to characters like Huggy? We call him a monster before we even stop to piece together what Huggy might be. Over on the sister channel RL Activities, I played through chapter 1 and found all the tapes. Needless to say, while we may not have explicit information about the experiments, we do know from the very first tape that Huggy isn't just a monster. So why is Huggy a monster? Because he's the antagonist. He's against us in the moment, and thus we don't like him and we praise his death when it comes. At least what we thought was his death. And let's be sure this is on the record. This isn't unique to Huggy. We see this trend with Mommy, Catnap, the Doctor, Yarnaby, and even Joey. But by the by, they're against us, so we internally hate them. How does this relate to us and other humans, though? Well, we need to put it into our real-world context. The Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America did a study that looked at how people react to one another in society. Spoiler, it's not great. The TLDR of the paper says that the more humans you get into a space, the more polarized the space will be. Why? Well, the reason they're looking at is politics. Because of course it is. So since the study is mainly focusing on groups politically, it's okay. It's natural, right? They're not going to be wanting to be together. But the reason why is a little more interesting. They noted that it is mainly because of negative emotions that are fostered because of the nature of the subject. They concluded that, quote, importantly, these negative relationships do not form by chance, but emerge in specific patterns, end quote. Well, what are those patterns? They are implemented due to social systematic pressures. Think of it this way. If you've been told you're supposed to be enemies, then you'll automatically assume that you are when the first chance arises. Now, back to our long-armed friend. We clearly have been told in the first tape that there is something ominous that is going to harm us if we keep going forward.
And that's one of the more tame aspects of our security system. No spoilers.
And since the player character has never seen a horror movie, we do. Then we come to Huggy. When we think that he's just a statue, we all assume all is well. But when he leaves, it's guns a-blazing. Well, we don't get guns till chapter 3, but you know what I mean. And this mentality can also be put on other characters we run into as a whole. Aside from Missy, Giblet, and maybe Poppy, depending on how you see her, everyone we encounter either hates us, wants us dead, or would rather us vanish. This study is saying that the more people you have, the more likely it is to be diverted in social interactions. We see that here, and you can bet we see that in our own world. To be fair though, the great majority of that may be because of an increase of screen usage. Let's be honest, at the time we use it as an escape from being social. But that's not the point. The point I'm making here is that the game is a mirror to remind us of how we look and interact with other humans. If they're antagonistic, or we're told they're supposed to be, we stop there and blame them. We oftentimes, forget that there's a greater evil to fight. In the case of Poppy Playtime, that is 100% Leith Pierre, or even Elliot Ludwig, or if you want to be petty but correct, the Doctor and Miss Gracie. But instead, even when we know something is deeper than what we're seeing, we blamed Huggy, Mommy, Catnap, and other toys for our misfortune. Why? Because we as people are programmed to detect a threat and neutralize it, not analyze before reacting. Back in the caveman days, that was the difference between life and death. But we're in a new time now. We're dealing with killer toys made from tortured children. It's totally different. Anyway, the games actually managed to deliver this to us in a great way that can't fully be appreciated until it's looked at from an outside and technical perspective. Now, at the risk of sounding too nerdy, I'm going to narrow down some of the technicality, but in a paper about how video games are to be analyzed, they bring up a major point. narrative. And not just any narrative, this is self-evident and emergent narrative. If you're in theater, you may know that self-evident narratives is kind of like effective memory. Essentially, it's taking what is given to you and applying your own memory and experience into it to make the experience better, a little fuller, a little brighter. And emergent narrative is the narrative we are given from the start. Knowing that, Oliver Priez-Latier says that, quote, studying gameplay needs to be approached particularly carefully since it comprises many emergent and not self-evident systematic elements. The connection between the game rules and the given objective imposed by the game or defined by the player, that's that self-evident stuff we mentioned, generates a gameplay flow, which basically consists of a series of gameplay mechanics, end quote. So what are they saying? They're saying that while the self-evident narrative is a factor, since everyone's experience is different, we can't only look into that on account of analyzing a game. But isn't that exactly what we've been trying to do, though? Yes and no. Yes, everyone's experiences that they're bringing to the game are different, but the reactions that the game is forcing us to go through is what's interesting. At the end of the day, the players are smoothly going through the motions of what the game gives. With some exceptions, but hear me out. We know that dropping the box would likely hurt or kill Huggy, yet we do it anyway. We know that electrocuting Catnap would hurt him, yet we do it. We are consistently thrown into situations that we seem to accept, not because we're playing a game, but because maybe a piece of us wanted it too. While Mark is definitely onto something with his crash out after playing Chapter 5, I don't think anyone is denying how incredible the narrative and storytelling has been. Think about it. If you don't want to, you don't have to listen to the recordings for the most part. You can go on with bliss and not worry about a thing of what dark secrets are going on in this factory. All you'll know is that something messed up happened. But darn it, Miss Delight is chasing you, and oh boy, does it feel good to chop her sickening body in half. Or you can look for the clues and learn the history. The choice is yours. Just like how it is always your choice to find out more about someone before judging them. After all, we have no idea what makes a man do something until we walk a mile in their shoes. And while that may not be the moral of the story the game makers are trying to leave us with, it is one thing that we should definitely think about. In a different study, looking into why we as consumers like horror as a genre and what it does for us societally and mentally, they say that horror is, quote, profoundly concerned with the socio-cultural and psychological ramifications of trauma, end quote. And guys, what do we get all throughout Poppy Playtime? Trauma. And we don't get to see it until we try to see it. What motivates us as we play the tapes and files and diaries? Maybe a sense of completion, but also a sense of urgency to know the whole story. And that's the beauty of games. Because we're put in the middle to make decisions and feel with these characters, we start to really grow and experience with them. That's why many of us cried, in a way, when Huggy and Missy's reunion was cut tragically short, or when we heard the tape after killing Dowie. We aren't just a player now. We are the ex-employee. We are learning to care for these poor souls. So we can eventually feel that way for fictional characters, for a fictional hanging toy wannabe that insists on killing us. But what about our own world, our own people as humans? Sometimes we only get one shot. Sometimes we only have one opportunity to give grace. The chances of a human trying to kill and eat you are pretty low. The chances that someone is simply a jerk and will never change is a medium. But the chances that someone needs a kind smile or some patience is high. Just like we don't get to see Huggy's memories until Chapter 5, we often don't understand someone's life and struggles till far later. And when that's the case, why waste the time thinking we hate a person when we're likely basing it off of judgment of a small percentage of information? At the end of the day, Poppy Playtime might just be a game. But a great moral lesson we can take from it is how to be a little kinder, a little softer, and maybe looking beyond the threat we see initially and blaming it for all our problems. Maybe we should try giving Huggy a hug. Or maybe just stick to the high five. Well, guys, we learned a lot. We did something that is a new way of looking at video games. We're looking at it through an academic lens. Once again, a lot of footage of the first chapter is from the sister channel RL Activities, so if you're looking for some chill and fun videos of games and random research, be sure to give the channel a look. And the sources links will all be in the description box below, so be sure to give them a look too. If you guys like seeing these kinds of videos, let me know with a like, and let me know in the comments what kind of game you might want me to look at next. I really enjoyed making this, so I look forward to what you guys say. And of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you're notified of next time I upload. Until next time, everyone, don't forget to be radical. Have a nice day.